Hello everyone! In one of my videos, I showed you how to automate a bar of pie chart and control it with a slicer. The idea behind it was to have two pivot tables, control the helper pivot table with the slicer, and use the value shown in it to expand the pivot item in the main pivot table used for the chart. Also, the points with this value in their category names will be transferred to the secondary plot. In this video, I would like to answer some of your questions, namely how to explode the slice, which is drilled down, rename other using the flavor names, and troubleshooting. Also, how to remove the names of the flavors from the secondary plot, using this code with a pie of pie chart instead of bar of pie, and what happens if there's a new flavor, for example, mint. So let's see how this is done. To explode the drilled down slice, I will add a variable, n, as integer, and it is going to be the number of the points in the series, just to make the code look neater. Initially, I'm going to remove the formatting and set the explosion of the series to 0. And at the end, I'm going to add that the last point of the series has to have an explosion of, let's say, 20. The drilled down point other is the last one in the chart, in this case point 10. If I change the selection in the slicer, it is going to be exploded. The next question was how to rename other using the names of the flavors. On sheet 3, in the helper pivot table, the name of the selected flavor is shown in cell A4. In the code, this is the selection. So I will type so the text of the data label of the last point has to include selection, which is the value in cell A4 on sheet 3, joined with comma and space as separators, and the rounded result using function round of the value of this point divided by difference of the sum of all values of the points and the value of this point, because there's a double count, because point other is included extra in the chart. Times 100, no decimal places, and joined with a percentage sign. Let me bring part of the formula to the next line for better visibility. And now, if I select the different flavors, they will appear instead of other in the slices as data labels. If you would like to remove the names of the flavors from the secondary plot, then in the loop, for the points that are getting transferred to the secondary plot, in the text of the data labels, the flavor name has to be removed from the category names. I will use the function replace. In the category, selection, which is the value in cell A4 on sheet 3, will be replaced with nothing. And joined with comma and space as separators. And again, the rounded result of the division of the value of this point by the difference of the total sum of all the values minus the value of the last point, which is double counted. Now if I change the selection, I can just see the brands and the percentages without the name of the flavor. The code can also be used with a pie of pie chart, but changing the chart type could remove the data labels. So for the macro to function properly before I change the chart type, I'm going to specify the formatting of the data labels in the code. The series is going to have data labels with the following formatting. The category name will be shown, also the percentage, the value will not be shown. The position of the labels will be inside end, and the separator will be a comma. I can change the chart type and choose a pie of pie. Changing the selection in the slicer will trigger the formatting and change the drill down. In the source data, there's an additional flavor, mint. Let's paste it under the table, and because the data range was originally converted to a table, I can just click in a pivot table and under Analyze, choose Refresh. Now mint is in the chart, in the slicer, the drill down works, and it's also in both pivot tables. Sometimes a pivot chart may lose its formatting and change the flavor names back to other after saving and reopening the file. If that should be a problem for you, then the solution is to use a regular chart instead of the pivot chart. Let's remove the pivot chart. Press Alt and F1 to add an empty regular chart. Under Change Chart Type, select the bar of pie, and under Select Data, specify the references for the chart. Add a series. The series name can, for example, be flavor. The values will be from column L And the axis labels will be from columns J and K. This chart is chart 3. So in the code, I will change chart 1 to chart 3. Select Mint again and the drill down works. But I would like the chart references to be dynamic. Right now they're limited to row 10. To achieve this, I will use dynamic named ranges. To reference the values, I will use the offset function, starting in cell L2. I will stay in the same row and column, and the height or length of the range that I need will be determined by the count function of the column L. Count does not include text, so the header will not be counted in. And 1 for the width, because I need 1 column. I'm using fixed references because this formula will go into the name manager. In the name manager, I will add a new dynamic named range, call it values, and paste the formula. I will also add a dynamic named range for the axis labels, paste the formula, but start in cell J2, and I need 2 columns, J and K. In the chart, right-click and choose Select Data. Edit the series. Under Series Values, leave the sheet name and exclamation sign and type Values. And for the axis labels, again leave the sheet name and exclamation sign and type Axis Labels. Now my references are dynamic, and the drill down works. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe.